obviously, really excited, really proud to be a part of this. These guys have accepted me in the last 3.5 weeks, and this was an incredible night. I can be honest with you. These guys probably know I didn't exactly know what to expect, and I'm walking out of here really impressed with so many things, but most importantly, their love, their care for one another, their ability to keep fighting. I don't think I saw one negative body language or anything said on the sidelines. And always in games there's adversity and there's ups and downs. And I think if anything, obviously the win, but other than that was the most impressive thing I saw all night, and a lot of things to build on. So I really appreciate all these guys, Coach Leonard and everybody that it's made these last 3.5 weeks for me really a great experience.
If you have any questions, please raise your hand. We'll get a mic to you. Please identify yourself by name and outlet. We have our first question. Start here on the far left.
Yeah, Luke, Colton Bartholomew, Wisconsin State Journal. For the first half, you were really able to keep guys like Brennan Presley, their wide receiver, and a couple of their offensive weapons in check. What do you think was the difference between that first and second half that they were able to hit some of those big plays?
I think that's what it is. It's some of the shots and big plays. I mean, those balls that go up are 50-50 balls, and they're going to come down with them. They're good football players, and I think in the first half maybe they were maybe a little bit more conservative. Thought maybe they could hit the other things and turn little ones into big plays, and the defense was just doing such a great job at everything. I mean, smothering them, tackling, leveraging the football, then maybe some bubbles. I think they knew in the second half they had to take some of those shots, and they made a couple of those plays.
On the left, second row.
Jim Polzine from the State Journal. Luke, you pulled Jim up on stage with you in the post-game celebration. Did you think that was important to get him up there and honor him in some way?
I think he should have been up there from the get-go, to be honest with you. I mean, 3.5 weeks, I don't know that that's enough time to stand up there. I tried not to grab the trophy. I told these guys, you guys grab it. Man, this isn't me. But I thought it was really important. I thought it was important for him to be recognized. And I wanted to make sure I said more than anything that I appreciate how what he's done for me and how he's handled these last few weeks. And I got the utmost respect, not just for him, but what this place really means. It showed me a lot.
Front row on the right.
Jay Kokorowski, Wisconsin State Journal. Say, Luke, with obviously you said a week or two ago you're acting as a figurehead. How did you work with Bobby and Jimmy when it came to whether or not to go on fourth down? Did you have to change anything up from what you initially thought you wanted to do as said figurehead?
I had enough belief that I could control myself and not do too much. But we had sat down actually for a while this morning and just kind of went over everything and made sure we were all on the same page of how we would go about handling some of the situational stuff. And I've always been a guy that communicates better with the defensive guys in general because I spend a lot of time with those guys. So we had a plan and we stuck with the plan. I think that we knew we needed to be aggressive. We knew we were going to always kind of make sure guys were all on the same page. And there was great communication back and forth the whole night. And like I said, I don't know that I could have done it any other way.
Any other questions? Back up here in the front row. Far end.
Raul Vasquez with the Badger Blitz. Luke, you played it out as you said you would, just kind of on the side as a figurehead. Just curious whether or not you were itching to whether or not you're itching to kind of get into the full-time role, and what the excitement level is like to kind of get things kicked off.
No, I told you guys I wasn't arrogant enough to think I could go out there and start helping these guys correct them or say something to them or other than just the general leverage of football or something like that or be a positive influence for the guys up front or the offense. I kind of knew that was going to be like that. I didn't know how exactly I'd be able to handle it because it is an emotional game and I'm an emotional guy and but I think that it worked out exactly the way I had planned it and was able to kind of stay a little bit on the backside and make sure those guys knew that they had to run it, and they did a great job.
We'll stay in the right front row here.
Luke, as a follow-up to what I asked before, who was in charge of timeouts? Were you the one in charge of timeouts? And then who was the one that called the fourth down play with Andy running?
The fake punt?
Yeah, the fake punt, yeah.
Well, I did not call that. We had talked about it all not all week, but the last couple of days about, hey, what are we looking for if we're gonna do this? I know we haven't run one in a few years, and I was obviously aware of that. And they said if we're going to get some of the looks that we expect to get, then we're going to be aggressive. And I was 100% with them. But that was all basically them saying that this is what we're looking for. This is what, and I was like, I'm good to be aggressive. Fourth downs, it's always a situation where, okay, the head coach or I was in some ways making the call, but the reality is I always communicate with the defensive guys. I always communicate with the offensive guys. We have a plan. Obviously the head coach has to run onto the field to call the timeout. We knew the way we were going to do things, and I can just be happy that we executed that way. There was no issues of who was doing what or how we were going to do things. It all worked.
Front row here on the left.
Braylon, it looked like that month off, really helped you, from a physicality standpoint. Just how beneficial was it, and how much healthier were you than last time you took the field against Minnesota?
Yeah, I think it was very beneficial. I think the coaches did a great job, as we were getting kind of back into the swing of preparing for this game, kind of giving me, a manageable load to where I was getting good work, but also, not putting too much of a beating, on my body throughout that preparation. So today I felt amazing. I'm just excited I was excited to be able to play, kind of feeling 100% again. It was just fun to play.
We'll stay here on the left at the far end.
Jordan, what do you think it says about your guys' defense that you played so well without guys like Keanu and Nick out there with you?
Everybody understands it's a next man up mentality at Wisconsin. We lost Noonan, we lost Nick, but we still got to get the job done. We still got to, do our best on defense. And how we did it, we played together, we communicated, and we executed. So that's what happened.
Second row left.
Braylon, a two-parter for you. This has been a weird season, obviously, right? How important was it to go out on the right note? And then how excited are you? Now it's kind of a start of a new era. How excited are you for the future?
I'm incredibly excited. Just kind of getting to have conversations and talk with Coach Fickell has gotten me very excited. I think the guys that we have coming back, obviously a bunch of playmakers, guys who have experience, and I think we're going to be very dangerous. And can you repeat the first part of that question? Yeah. That was huge. It was definitely exactly what we wanted. I'm not really an emotional person, but just thinking back on everything that we went through, start dating back to the spring with GB, and kind of just the up and downs throughout the season. And like I said, not very emotional, but when it comes to this team and my brothers, it's kind of hard to control. I mean, they've been there for me, and we've been there for each other every step of the way. I can't thank them enough. I was very appreciative. Like I said, we ended it exactly the way we wanted to. Just happened to get the win.
Front row on the right.
Say, Luke, talking about Chase and his play today, how would you define him? Obviously, and do you foresee him coming back next year as well?
Yeah, we've talked about that. Chase is, I think he's on schedule to come back. He's got himself into graduate school, and I think he feels like he's got some unfinished business. And it's hard to walk away from a place like this. And when you're afforded some of those extra years, that's what in the last 3 weeks. That's what this place has showed me. There's so many of these guys, whether it's Braylon, whether it's JT. I mean, these guys, whether it's Chase, that if having an opportunity, want to come back, want to be a part of this, don't want to leave it and walk away. That's showed me a lot, and I thought Chase did a phenomenal job tonight. He controlled what he could control. He, took shots when he needed to take shots, and I don't think I ever saw him bat an eye. Even after the interception, his ability to come back, but that's a credit to him, but it's also a credit to these guys, because I told you there was no bad body language. There was nothing negative, no matter what situation I saw tonight.
Front row here on the left.
Coach, maybe a tough question for you to answer, but this program's won 8 of its last 9 bowl games. Just kind of observing, over the last month, the way you have, is there something you point to as to why this program's had success in those games that can kind of be, a little crazy and wild.
Well, no, I think obviously in a 3.5-week period, it's not the easiest question to answer. But I told these guys, the little that I've said to them, it's bowl games are 90% about who wants to be there. Everybody wants to be there when the game's kicked off, but really, who wants to be there? Meaning, like, who wants to prepare to be there? And I really do believe that. And like I said, I'm not sure I knew exactly what to expect completely tonight, but I know what I've seen of the last 3.5 weeks. That they wanted to be here, they wanted to prepare. There's guys you asked about, guys that aren't here anymore, or, missing some key players. But this is what you see. This is what I envisioned from afar that this was all about. And that's what they've showed me over the last 3.5 weeks. They want to be here, they want to do it together, and they want to do it the right way.
Front row on the right.
For both players, I'm just curious what it was like after the game and in the locker room, just being able to kind of send the coaches off with a win and on a good note, the guys you guys kind of build a relationship with already.
Well, I thought that I was on the field plenty long to where there would be people in the locker room by the time I got there, and I found myself being the only player in the locker room. So I've only had interactions walking back into this room, and I guess they were pretty good. Everyone's excited, but yeah.
I mean, I'm still waiting to go in the locker room and celebrate with my boys, so that's me.
Sometimes it takes a little while to settle in, to sink in. So it's not too late for these guys to be able to get back and relax, celebrate a little bit with their buddies. I think that's what this game is all about, man. I know this, that if there's anything I miss about the game, when I got done playing, the reason I wanted to be a coach is because of what that locker room, because of what that locker room's all about, ups and downs, and obviously these guys had to come here instead of going in there and doing the thing that they want to do the most, and but we'll get them moving here so we can get them in there to do that.
We have one more question here in the far left in the back.
This one's for Coach. Nick Brusewitz, Wisconsin Student Radio, WSUM. Recognizing how well the Badgers have traditionally ran the football and how often the air raid idea has been thrown up in the last few days, how important is it to you to maintain that edge that the Wisconsin Badgers, with running backs like Braylon and JT and Ron Dane and everyone, has really just developed as a culture here?
It's everything. I mean, if anybody that's, doesn't matter. You don't have to be the smartest guy in the world, but you walk in here and the greatest thing I wanted to do, I knew what I knew from afar, but what I really wanted to do over the last 3.5 weeks is make sure I can evaluate and see what this place is really all about. And just because you might look different, just because you might have a title next to your name, whatever that is, whether a style of offense, so to speak, what makes Wisconsin great, what has made Wisconsin great, isn't going to change. And we would be fools to think that we aren't going to be what this place historically has been. Now, how you do things and how it looks may be a little bit different, but we're never going to let this thing lose its edge, let us lose our edge for what's going to give us a chance to win.
Okay, our final question will be here on the right in the very back.
Braylon, can you walk us through that 20-yard touchdown run into the end zone, what your thoughts were on that, and kind of what your reaction was after that, and how you felt the position that you guys were in after that?
I mean, it was kind of just a inside zone scheme and huge hole. I kind of mentioned it after the game. The O-line did a phenomenal job today, just creating space and, made it really easy for all the running backs that were in today. And, Chim did a great job blocking downfield on the corner, and I was pretty much had a two-way go, just hit the outside, and, Chim held his block well and was able to get into the end zone.